Good day, welcome back to Quilting with Don. I'm Don for those just tuning in, but you probably figured that out. This episode is actually going to be an update episode. I am currently not working on something, go figure, but doing lots of scuba diving. I've been skiing lately because ski season is on, and I hope to get you a video on skiing with Don, but I just haven't figured out the tech yet for that. Not a problem. So, before I begin the update, I thought I'd show you something pretty cool, and this is here, the very first quilt I ever did. All right? I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but there we are. It's called the Twisties quilt. It's a twisty wreath where you make your squares and then you cut them up on an angle with a little special template and you sew them back together. And it came out great. This is the first one I ever did. I did it, I think while we were living in Europe quite some time ago. And I used the sewing machine for the quilting as well. I stitched in the ditch around the wreath and I did it laps around the edge. And then of course I bound it and I did all the work myself. So it was my very first quilt that I did entirely. Yes, with lots of Carolyn assistance. Now, let's fast forward to today. This is my latest project, which I'll give you a better close-up of it so you can see it. But this was the result of a workshop I did, put on by Corolla Russell. And it's very cool because it's three-dimensional. The poppies here actually stick out. They're really cool. And these stems you made by folding the fabric, twisting it and sewing it down. This lace is for the leaves. It came out really well. We pick any word we wanted and I stamped the word Flanders because for me, in Flanders fields where the poppies grow row on row, very appropriate for me being ex-Air Force. I have done many Remembrance Day ceremonies. I piped at many of them as well. Yes, because I'm a piper if you didn't know. Anyway, the point is it came out really good. I even used the machine to do some additional quilting on it to give it some more texture. I bound it with a single layer of fabric. Corolla gave us that fabric as well as part of our workshop, and so I did machine binding, but it's perfect. I really like it, and it looks wonderful. So there we are. That's from the first one I did to the latest one I did. Now, the other thing I'm doing, I have picked up this habit, in part from Carolyn, but also because I don't like a mess, is every time I finish a project, I've got all this leftover fabric, right? Well, I've also got a handy dandy bin here where I take all my leftover fabric and I sort it and I cut it into various applicable sizes. I've got this big stack of 5-inch squares because apparently a 5-inch square is a good thing for many projects, and I've got a big stack. I've got a stack of fat quarters because some I can trim down to a fat quarter-ish, you know. I've got a really cool, a big stack of 2.5-inch times width of fabric strips, because that's a good working length for something. You get the idea. And then I've got a big pile of width of fabrics that I can use for whatever I can cut into, but they're width of fabric, so that gives you lots of opportunities. So what I'm going to do now is simple. I'm going to take this leftover pile and exactly that, sort it into, in order, those that are with the fabric I can make into at least, I'm hoping for around at least a half a yard. Then the next size down will be fat quarters. If I can make something down to a fat quarter, I will. I will also, for those with the fabrics, I might cut off some strips depending on how much I have of it, of 2.5-inch wide. And finally, the smaller pieces I turn into 5-inch squares. So it's a bit of you know, by the seat of your pants. But these are all the fabrics I had left over from the Sea Life quilt I did. You might have seen some of it. I mean, you know, isn't that cool fabric cool? I use this fabric in the octopus. Oh, here's that, my favorite coral fabric. This is one I didn't use, but it's whale tails. That was fun. I used this for that little teapot or coffee pot cozy. You may remember that. And so on and so forth. There's some fabrics I did not use. It's sand dollars, little seahorses, more seahorses. I just didn't use them, but I've got them. So I will sort this and put them into my bin here and then keep it organized, and I don't have piles of fabric kicking around. It's all organized. Gotta like that, eh? So that's the plan. So, now, let's get this out of the way and talk about what's next. Give me a second to organize. All right, so my next project. What's it gonna be? Well, I have collected 3 patterns over the last year or so, and one of them is probably my next project. So have a look at these. I'll show you little close-ups of them. And if you like, give me ideas what you'd like to have me do, because I'm leaning towards one, but I'm not going to tell you yet. So here's first one. It's a cute little kitty applique pattern. So I'm assuming, because I haven't opened it yet, but I'm assuming it has the template for the cat and the flowers around it, and it tells you how to do it. And you know, I love cats. Carol and I both love cats. The next one is this wild salmon applique art pattern. So it has the salmon appliques inside. I did look inside this one. And then the fun is picking your fabric. So it looks like they use an ombre fabric for the salmon and may use 2 of them. So the sky's the limit, especially if I scan the pattern in and use the scanning cut. I can make as many salmon as I like and whatever size I like. Finally, I got this geometric pattern that I also am quite taken by. There's many ways you could choose colors to do it. You can see more of a 2 different ways to do it. Lots of bright colors on one side and less bright, but with this very wonderful contrast of white in between. So 1 is the kitties, 2 is a salmon, 3 is geometric. 1, 2, and 3. If you like, if you're feeling commenting on this, tell me which one you like or you think I should try. I'm split on it. I am leaning towards one of them. See if you can guess which one it is. So other than that, hope you enjoyed this quick update of Quilting with Don. And I've got some fabric sorting to do and some choosing to do on the next pattern. Luckily, I've got other things to keep me busy. Oh, one last thing. What is the extra thing? Today is the 18th of January. So can you guess what's going to take place in exactly 1 week, on the 25th of January? I'll give you a hint, because I brought out a Scottish beer, Innocent Gun, which I'm now going to pour. Have you guessed yet what it is? It involves haggis. It involves piping. Should be no surprise there. It's Robbie Burns' birthday. So the bard, the poet, Robbie Burns, every year I celebrate, many of us celebrate Robbie Burns' birthday. And we raise a glass, we say Slanja. This is a Scottish beer, Innocent Gun, very nice. It's an oaked beer, one of the original beers from Scotland. And yes, because I just happen to play the bagpipes, I will be involved with several Robbie Burns functions in evenings, and I will get my share of haggis. Oh, that's good beer. This one's a special Caribbean cask, oaked rum-ish, rum-flavored beer. So it's wonderful. Anyway, yeah, so next week, lots of Robbie Burns piping and haggis, and life is good. So stay tuned. The next quilting update, hopefully I'll have chosen, or with your assistance, I'll have chosen my next project and I'll begin working on that. In between, there will be more diving videos, hopefully a skiing video, and you never know. So, stay tuned and slanja!